Yes? Do you see me? Yes? All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Jam at Gent's. We've got a whole room full of people behind the camera. You don't see them, but that is them, and we're really glad you're here tonight. We had a great tutorial from Lil Rev just a little bit ago. Had a fantastic meal, and now we're going to have a great concert. And I think everyone tuning in, I think anyone who follows music, especially ukulele, knows who Lil Rev is. Just a great person, a kind soul, incredibly talented, fantastic teacher. I'm not just saying all these things. I mean, it really is. He's just an amazing person. So, Mark, Lil Rev loves his family, he loves music, and he loves to share music. And that's what tonight is. Tonight is sharing music with the folks in this room and the folks who have tuned in on a Saturday night. So with that, Lil Rev, come on up, and we're going to have Lil Rev share some music.
We meet again under different circumstances.
None of us
remember. All right. So here we go. Well, I'm gonna, in addition to all the great students that I had here in the flesh tonight, I have a lot of students online, and I don't want to forget about them. So I'm going to start out my class tonight, my concert, demonstrating a few things that I taught my class. A little bit of pattern picking, a little bit of muting, and I'm going to weave it all into a song that I'm going to dedicate to my sweetheart, who I hope is watching, my wife. Greg will let me know if Jenna Lynn is tuning in tonight at some point. She may or may not be. We'll see. Okay? But I also want to say that there are a few really big Bruce Springsteen fans watching online tonight. And I want to and I want to dedicate this to them, okay? So here we go. I married my high school sweetheart. Her father was an incredible man, no longer with us, retired firefighter, Vietnam veteran, 2-time Purple Heart, and just a great American, the kind of guy who gave everything. And when I was in high school, I used to play a lot of electric guitar, and I used to sing this song that I'm going to sing for you guys tonight. And it's about passion, it's about love, it's about attraction. But when I was a teenager, my in-laws trusted me. I couldn't call them in-laws back then, but I can today. My in-laws trusted me. Oh, you want to go to the Boston concert? Take our domestic custom van. I mean, who does that? Gives a 17-year-old a domestic custom van. You know what you could do in those? Hormones raging, 17. Plus, I was robbing the cradle because, my wife then was 15 years old, But I'm not going to lie, I always wanted a kiss at the end of the night. I always wanted a kiss, I'd be lying if I didn't say that. I used to like to sing this song to her. But we'll talk more about that stuff a little later in the song. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave her all alone? Oh, you can take me higher, say it. Oh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is it good to you? Could he do to you the thing I don't do? Oh, no. You can take me higher. Come on, say it, everybody. Oh, I'm on fire. Like someone took a knife, baby, and you know, put a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. Like someone took a knife, baby, and you know, put a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. Night I wake up with the sheets open wide, freight train rolling through the middle Say it. Oh, I'm on fire. I'll play a little Rev. Well, I'm in my mid-50s now. I'm proud to say that I still wake up at night with the sheets open wide and a freight train rolling through the middle of my head. Just like that verse. I got lucky. I didn't see my high school sweetheart for about 30 years or so. Found myself a single father with a 6-year-old. And lo and behold, my very, very, very religious friend said, Lil Rev, don't worry, God gives you what you need when you need it most. And I do believe that's true. Yes, sir. I thank God every day for that, you know. But anytime I'd sneak a kiss when I was a teenager, you know, at the end of the night. And by the way, my in-laws would be like, it'd be Saturday night, we'd be hanging out in the living room. They'd be like, oh, we're going to bed now. Just let yourself out a little bit later, you know. I mean, who does that? You know, who does that? My daughter will never have those kind of opportunities that I had. Never. I'm telling you. But I always thought when I leaned in for that kiss, you know, he wasn't a big man, but he was a tough man. And I always imagined that he was going to grab me by the back of the collar, lift me up. My feet would be dangling off the floor. You don't kiss my daughter. You don't. Come on, can't I at least get a kiss? But that never happened. Oh, yeah. So all those years later, when I was driving down the road one day and I heard this song on the radio, I couldn't help but relearn it again, you know. Instead of electric guitar, I put it on the ukulele, and I bet Bruce Springsteen would be rolling over in his grave if he heard it. Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave us all alone? No, you could take me high. Say it. Oh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? Could he do to you the thing I don't do? Bad desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, put a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. Like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, put a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. Now I wake up with the sheets open wide and a freight train rolling through the middle of my head. Oh, desire. Come on, say it. Oh, I'm on fire. Oh, I can still hear that train riding through the night, you know. Yes, sirree. It's nice being married to your high school sweetheart. It does keep you young, you know. I don't get as much done as I probably should, chasing her all around the house all the time, you know, but nevertheless. Here comes that train right now. Thank you. All right. Well, did you guys see it? The muted strum, the finger picking. All right, so you got to practice what you preach. Remember that. Okay. Do another one for you here on the tenor. This is a blues song that I've been really in love with a lot lately. I've been performing this tune quite a bit, and I arranged it over the course of the pandemic, and just kind of fell in love with this piece. I'm going to play it for everybody tonight. It's called The Weeping Willow Blues, and there are versions of this by a guy named Blind Boy Fuller, and I learned it from an old folk singer named Michael Cooney, and so here's the ukulele version. willow and the morning dawn. Weeping willow and the morning dawn. I got a girl up country, man, I sure do love. Got no little flower, the frost done killed the vine. Got no little flower, the frost done killed the vine. Sweet Corina, she's a girl of mine. Down to the river, sit down on a log. Down to the river, sit down on a log. Can't have Corita be treated like no dog. I'll sing this with me now. Weeping willow and the morning dove. Let's say it again. Weeping willow and the morning dove. I got a girl up country, man, I sure do love. Sometimes I think, babe, you're too sweet to die. Sometimes I think, babe, you're too sweet to die. Other times I just hang my head and cry. Last time, weeping willow and the morning dawn. Weeping willow and the morning dawn. I got a girl up country, man, I sure do love. Make some money, Lil Rev. Oh, you guys are so kind and nice. All right. Well, I'm playing one song for you on the mandolin tonight, and I'm going to do that in just a moment here. But before I do, I did have a request from one of my fans who was watching tonight and asked me if I would play this for them. So I'm going to do this.
I didn't know we could do this.
I take requests, but I usually give them right back. So I'm going to start out, do a little piece on the harmonica and a little spoken word thing, and then I'll segue into this mandolin thing. Okay, you guys ready for this? Okay, all right. It's only a spike, an old railroad spike, and was lying there on the cold ground. It was left there to rust itself back into dust because the tracks were no longer around. But when it was new, it was gunmetal blue, and a steel driver hammered it home. And the whole thing sang while that cold steel rang to the sound of that old spike driver's moan. It's only a spike, an old railroad spike. The railroad don't need it no more. And after the ride, they just threw it aside, and no one said thanks for the chore. But if it could talk, it would tell of a time when a steel driver hammered it home. and the whole thing sang while that cold steel rang to the sound of that spike driver's moan. It's only a spike, an old railroad spike, worn out from the work that it done. It didn't seem fair to just leave it there without any place in the sun. It ought to be picked up and polished and hung by the mantle and shone. And then each time it glistens, if anybody listens, you can still hear that old spike driver moan. All aboard Gents Express. Thank you. All right, well, I got to wet my whistle now after that. Man. All right. Is anybody in love tonight? Is there anybody here in the room or streaming? If they're streaming, you can make those little hearts. Greg will give me a V for victory if he sees a lot of hearts popping up. And is there anybody who'd like to be in love before the night is over? There's always a few of those. Yeah. Well, you're going to hear the mandolin once. I don't play a lot of solo mandolin, but I do like to play the mandolin once in a while. And I want to do a song I think that everybody knows. I just love to sing. And, you know, we in the ukulele world, we strum all these songs and we have a good time singing and hanging out with each other. And it's a real community kind of feeling. But a lot of times things get past us. You know, like every U Club does Hey Good Looking, right? Hank Williams. But, you know, we forget about these stories that came with the music, you know. And, you know, Hank Williams only lived to be 29 years of age, but he wrote all this great music. And the story just keeps repeating itself. All these great songwriters who just left us way too soon. And you're left wondering, like, what might they have left the world if they'd lived, like, a full, long life, you know, and not left us so soon. And I wonder that about Sam Cooke, because I really love Sam Cooke's music in so many different ways. And I don't know what Sam Cooke's music was meant for the mandolin, but we're going to find out tonight. And I'm going to see what one mandolin can do. And I'm going to sing one of his love songs. It says, "Bring it on home to me, bring it on home to me." Now, I'm not going to get into the details of my wife and I's parting as teenagers, but I will tell you, whenever I get to that line, it says, "I laughed when you left, but it only hurt myself." That one, I know that line, like, intimately, you know, so. But fortunately, she came back to me. And anyways, here it is, okay? If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, please sing along. You know I laugh when you laugh, but I only hurt myself. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, I bring you jewelry and money too. That ain't all I do for you. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah. You know I always be your slave till I'm buried in my grave. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Well, I have this sort of wisdom that only somebody gets from the kind of experiences that I've had. I know what it's like to think, you got tomorrow, and then tomorrow never comes. And I know what that's like. And some of you who know my story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if I was to take any lessons from an earlier part of my life, I guess what I'd say is that knowing that there isn't always a tomorrow, it set me up for a place where this great blessing that I get to say I married my high school sweetheart. And, maybe you don't hear a lot of tough men like me talking this mushy too often. But I will tell you this. I don't want to miss a day. I don't want to miss a moment. I don't want to miss a breath. I don't want to miss a year. Because sometimes that tomorrow never comes. So I want to be like right front and present to every opportunity I have to love the people in my life. My wife, my daughter, my friends, my family. We don't always get that tomorrow. So in some ways, I'm grateful for some of the things that happened. It gave me a place and a wisdom to be more present and to realize, that I got to appreciate every doggone second I got. You know I always be your slave till I'm buried in my grave. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah. I'll bring you jewelry and money too. That ain't all I do for you. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah. Come on and get some Lil Rev. I laugh when you laugh, but I only hurt myself. Baby, bring it to me. Bring your sweet loving. Bring it on home to me. Yeah, yeah. never hurt nobody. Nobody. All right. I think I'm going to play a little bit on the baritone here. And let's see here. It's a process, so bear with me here. All right. So I'm going to do a song for you guys now that I wrote for an album called Sing Song Daddy. And I'm going to play a little mouth harp, I think, too. If I can find the right harmonica. Got to be careful I don't have my glasses on or I put the wrong key in there. Been happening a lot lately.
That's an E, I can tell it from here.
All right. Well, I must have, I don't know what the heck I was channeling, because when I wrote this song, none of what has transpired over the last couple of years had yet come to pass. And yet I had been thinking about, well, I'm a history fan, so I'm very interested in things like the Civil War and things like that. I love American history. And I was thinking about the price that's been paid. But I had been on the road, and I was up in northern Wisconsin at playing this cool little series where you play out on this guy's pier, and all the people on the lake pull up in their boats and their inner tubes, and they float in the water while you serenade them. And it's really cool. It's really cool. But one of the perks of that gig is that you get to stay for up to a week in this little boathouse, which is on this lake, and the loons are singing at night, and it's just beautiful. And anyways, the art decor in this cabin is just impeccable. And one of the pieces of art in this cabin is a American flag. It's not just any American flag. It's an American flag done kind of 3D by a really great American artist whose name is Jasper Johns. And if you've never seen his flag designs, that's pretty much all he does. And look them up. They're really cool. And I was laying there after this show just looking at this flag. And what you got to keep in mind is that I have a lot of veterans in my family. My dad is a veteran of the Korean conflict, and my father's uncles were, stormed the beaches of Normandy, and one of my uncles was a concentration camp liberator. And so I've got a lot of this stuff running through my blood and my family, history, and so do you. So do you. And I love America with all my heart. I love this country. It's been all over. There's not a better place. There's no place I'd rather be than America. And that's why they say, in order to form a more perfect union. That's why they say that line. Think about that line. Okay? We take things for granted. We are comfortable and sometimes complacent. And it's a work in progress. If you follow the long spectrum of history, you know that every civilization rises and every civilization falls. I don't know where we are on that continuum. I like to think we're still rising. But as I looked at that flag and I thought about the cost of freedom, I couldn't help but write a song, So this is called Jasper Johns. And I got to thinking about what each of those colors on the flag that we always see and just don't even think much about. There's that flag waving and blowing again. What does that red, white, and blue really mean? What does it mean? I know what it meant to my father's uncles. Yeah, I know what it meant when they stormed the beaches of Normandy. It says they wouldn't have to fight fascism on our own shores. That's right. Jasper John, draw me a flag. Be proud when I see it wave. When you can fly right over my grave. Jasper Johns, draw me a flag. Jasper Johns, painted blue. The hard times we knew. All the struggles we've been through. Jasper Johns, painted blue. Jasper John's painted red. We done buried so many dead. All the blood that's been bled. Jasper John's painted red. Jasper John's painted white. We done seen many dark night. We done had us a terrible fight. Jasper John's painted white. Your spacious skies I have traveled. Underneath my feet, rocks and gravel. Like a cowboy punching cattle. I still love you just the same. Short and to the point. All right. Now I'm going to retune. I'm going to stay on this baritone uke here. I'm going to retune it for a second. And I'm going to go from one of my own songs to a song by one of my favorite folk singers. A guy by the name of Bruce Utah Phillips, who, like many of the artists I cover, are no longer with us. But I like this song, and I know you're going to go, Lil Rev, after such a hard-hitting subject as your last song. Can't you give us something a little more upbeat? No, I can't. And I'll tell you guys, I started talking a little bit earlier about this idea that Americans seem to be the only people that think that death is negotiable. Death is not negotiable. And I feel, if it's one thing that I feel pretty good about, it's that I don't have a whole lot of regrets. You know, I got one or two. But I'm not going to go to my grave with a whole belly full of regrets. That ain't going to be my story. And I sure hope it ain't any of yours. And you know the line, my daddy didn't raise no fool. You know that line, right? So my daddy didn't raise no fool. And if you follow your heart and follow your gut, you usually take you where you need to be. Problem is, we spend too much time worried about everybody else but ourselves. What will mother think? What will my sisters think if I do this? You know, and we get so hung up on that we're willing to swallow the bitter pill that is our own unhappiness because we don't do what we know we should be doing. And by the way, I'm almost tuned. I'm getting there. Nylon strings are not not my friend. You know, so all right. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna do one more kind of touchy-feely song, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. Okay. I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. Can you say that?
I believe
But normally after a response like that, I go, "Oi, such enthusiasm." But when y'all in the room didn't rise to the occasion the way I expected, those in streaming land did. So they got your back, okay? All right, here we go. From Bruce Utah Phillips. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Oh, say it again now, now. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. I sure hope so. If I thought that lady love was blind, that old sun would never shine. And if I thought that death really held the knife, we'd all be beggars of life. Help me out. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Oh, say it again now, now. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Sometimes I wish that I could close my eyes to some things I don't want to see. Still I believe if you lived your life again, you'd still be here with me. Come on. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Oh, say it again now, now. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Now, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit because you folks are getting too carried away here in this room, okay? Okay, I got to change the tempo now a little bit. All you guys in streaming land, you don't know what's going on here. These folks are just going crazy. They're going bonkers. They're going bonkers for this song. I mean, they're losing it here. You might not be able to see it, but they are, trust me. You better be glad you stayed home because this is a wild place right now. Well, my mother is in memory care. She's been in memory care for about 2 years now, a little bit more. And I just went to see her. Some of you saw my Facebook post that I made before I left to go on tour. My daughter and I went to go visit her, and she is just as spunky and loving as she always is. And she has not lost that sense of exuding all that love that's always been a part of who she is. Matter of fact, during the pandemic, I wanted to go visit her, but they wouldn't let me. And so the first time I went to go visit her, they said, you can talk to her through the glass. And there was a little phone in the lobby, and I went in there, and it was like a Roadrunner movie, you know, when the smoke is pouring out of the nostrils and the ears and the eyes are spinning around and all that if they drink that whiskey or whatever. Anyways, that's how I was feeling because I was irritated that they wouldn't let me in. And my mom picked up that phone. I hadn't seen her in 3 months. She couldn't tell you what she had for breakfast. She said, I loved you since the moment I first saw you. And now, most people know, so I don't have to go around saying this all the time. But as far as professional Jewish ukulele players are concerned, I'm as tough as they come. Okay? And I got the scars to prove it. Okay? But I was like, you know, these days my mom makes me cry often. Sweet thing that she is. But rules are meant to be broken, and often back doors are left open. Never try to get into some place you really want to get into through the front door. Nah. I'll never see the ending of my mind. Everything must have a time. Why should I ask for things that I don't need, or foolish lies to hide my greed? Ready? I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. Oh, say it again now, now. I believe if I live my life again, I'd still be here with you. sung at many funerals. I don't want to have to sing it at yours. So may we all all have as many tomorrows as we hope we will. And may you not live with any regrets, my friends. Thank you guys. All right. Well, let's see here. Oh, Greg, where do we do with that? There it is. Okay. All right. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm going to play Greg's little Lanakai here for everybody. Take a look at that, baby. Yeah. Okay. Thou shalt not covet Mr. Gent's ukuleles.
That's what Amy learned to play ukulele on.
Yeah, this is my first.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Amy, you might want to close your eyes for this one. Okay.
And now Lil Rev, you're playing.
Woohoo! Let's see here. 1 second. Once again, I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to take a chance on this one. That sounds about right. Okay. All right. So, those of you on watching this being streamed, we did a little class on folk, bluegrass, and country styles, and a lot of concepts, a lot of songs. So I'm going to play a bluegrass classic, but I'm going to soup it up a little bit. And I'm going to put some really cool words to it that I never knew existed till a few years back when an old banjo player that I met turned me onto this song, which she said was from an old field recording. Field recordings largely, at least a lot of the ones that she refers to, were collected during the WPA years, during the Great Depression, when we sent out ethnomusicologists across the country to take pictures and collect the songs of America and that sort of thing. And that goes on to this day. You just don't know it because nobody that you know says, when you ask them what they do for a living, rarely ever says, I'm going to become a folklorist and ethnomusicologist. That's a recipe for what? It's a recipe if you want to make tens of dollars. Yeah. All right, so here we go. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Did such a good job singing. I'm going to enlist your support again. We're going to employ some vaudeville theatrics. We're going to add a little bit of claw hammer, a little bit of strumming, maybe a little bit of harmonic if I remember, okay, and all kinds of other things. So I hope you guys are ready for this. I don't know if you guys are ready for this or not. I hope this ukulele can withstand what I'm about to do. Okay, all right, here we go. One more. Here's your line now, listen closely. Reeling and a rockin', I'm bound to go. Reeling and a rockin', I'm bound to go. Reeling and a rockin', I'm bound to go. Oh, fare thee well. Let's do it again. Reeling and a rockin', I'm bound to go. Reeling and a rockin', I'm bound to go. Oh, fare thee well. That frock tail coat I'm bound to wear. Frock tail coat I'm bound to wear. Frock tail coat I'm bound to wear. Oh, fare thee well. Thank you.
I get to sound like that when I play.
All right, enough ukulele for a little while. No, that's not the right thing to say. Sometimes I'm just not as eloquent as I should be. All right, I'm going to do one very short piece on the guitar, and then I'm going to sing a song for you. And the first one is a story about what I used to do for money when I was 12 years old. I asked my dad if he'd buy me an electric guitar. My sister had bought a guitar, and the strings were like 6 inches off the fretboard, and she thought she was going to learn John Denver songs. And she had just started. She was terrible. I mean, terrible. And she didn't stick with it very long. But my sister was 4 years older than I was. I was 12. She was 16. And you know, as much as I loved her, I was her younger brother. So it was my job to, like, you know, be terrible, you know, and just give her a lot of heck, you know. And so I asked my dad if he'd buy me an electric guitar, and you know, my dad is not about entitlement, no way, shape, or form. And my dad worked very hard. You know, he didn't have a whole lot of extra money growing up. He said, "You're old enough to get a paper route now." So, you know, at first I wasn't too excited about that proposition, but after a while, it became clear that it was a good decision. And so there I was at 4:30 a.m., 6 days a week, you know, delivering the morning paper, which we called the Milwaukee Sentinel. And I had 120 customers, rain, sleet, or snow, 10 miles all the way uphill. And I delivered that paper, and I had money in my pocket all the time. You know, I don't even remember what I made, 40, 50, 60 bucks a week or whatever it was, but it seemed like a lot of money back then. And I didn't have too much overhead, so it was a good thing. I got me an Antares electric guitar, and it was shaped like a Les Paul. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And in addition to wanting to razz my sister, I knew that the guitar players got all the chicks. So I thought maybe I was on my way to that. But I quickly realized that it was not a chick magnet in my hands. Not the way ukulele is. Then I decided I better learn how to play it, so I bought myself some lessons. And this old guy was a teacher, and his name was Don, and I wanted to learn, you know, I wanted to learn rock and roll, heavy metal. I wanted to learn whatever I could. Anything that would, like, I could hear on WLPX or 93 QFM. It could be anything from to could be anything from to I just wanted to rock. But you know what he had the chutzpah to say to me? You got to learn how to read music first. That was sacrilegious to a 12, 13-year-old. I did not want to learn how to read music. I got all the music theory I needed in recorder class in 5th grade. But he promised me if I learned how to read music, he said, if you learn to read music, you can play anything. He said, and if you ever become a pro, you can go into the studio and read everyone's charts. You can do anything you want. Little did he know that his words would set me on a path. I would never have been able to write all those Hal Leonard books I wrote if it hadn't been for him. I did not want to learn how to read music. I wanted to rock. But some little voice said, maybe he's right, maybe, you know. And eventually I learned how to read music. But what I didn't like about his process was that every time he'd teach me a cool rock song, he would teach me 2 or 3 songs that just didn't belong in my repertoire as a 13 or 14-year-old. A steel guitar rag. And then one day, Solito Lindo, a Mexican folk classic. And I'm like, why do I have to learn Beer Barrel Polka? He's like, well, first of all, you live in Milwaukee. It's the beer capital of the world. He said, second of all, you're too young to realize that if you stick with this, You may be in a band, and someone's going to ask you for it. And not only that, there are a lot of Poles and Germans in this town, and they're going to ask for a polka, so you better know how to play one. And I didn't know how to respond to that. And he kept pulling that out on me every time he'd teach me some song that I didn't want to know. Pretty soon, not only could I play rock and roll and read music, but I could, I could play all these cool songs that I never would ever have learned, ever. And here's one of them right now. I'll even do you the courtesy of plugging in this guitar. I know a few of you are wearing hearing aids just like me. Okay, here we go. You ready, Greg John?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Here's one of the songs he taught me. Here's where I make my money, Greg. I told you I used to be a rocker. One more time. That was too much guitar for me. I gotta wait for the other one. All right. How are we doing on time, Greg? Doing good? All right. Okay. I've been playing for 15 minutes.
I was telling that in her place for longer.
There's really no ending time.
Well, you're the boss. All right. Well, it's ukulele time once again. Usually people go. It's ukulele time once again. So I'm going to start out with a little tune here that I'm a big fan of a fellow named Lefty Frizzell, who never quite got the the accolades that Hank Williams got, and he kind of was in the shadow of Hank Williams for sure, and Jimmy Rogers and others that everybody was copying in the country world in the 1940s and 50s in honky tonk music, and wrote a lot of good songs. He actually wrote his first big hit in jail, and while he has kind of a sort of a troubled past, I think he made good when it came time to writing songs. Like I Love You 1,000 Ways and Always Late with Your Kisses, Shine, Shave, Shower, and Brush Your Teeth. If you got the money, I got the time. But this next to Saginaw, Michigan, this is probably one of his better known songs. Pretty much covered by everybody, including I love versions by Dave Matthews and Johnny Cash sang this song. Lots of people have covered it, and I'm going to do it for you guys now tonight. You're welcome to sing along if you like. 10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed beneath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all did agree that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. He walks these hills, long black veil. She visits my grave, night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Judge said, son, what's your alibi? If you were somewhere else, you won't have to die. Spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills, long black veil, visits my grave, night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Do it again. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Scaffold is high and eternity near. She stood in the crowd, shed not a tear. Sometimes at night when the cold wind moans, stands over my grave, cries over my bone. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave, night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. of country music never hurt nobody. Neither did a little bit of slide ukulele.
That's the new one, right?
This is a new one, yep. This is a resonator ukulele. If you take off this wooden cover, this beautiful wooden cover that Carrie Kelly of Mayamo made, you'll see sort of like looks kind of like an aluminum hubcap under there, and it shoots that sound out a little bit brighter, a little bit punchier than just a regular wood body ukulele, and kind of like the steel guitars, you know. And there are a bunch of us who like to do what most would do on the guitar, or maybe even the baritone. Slide on the ukulele is fraught with peril and promise. And this short scale, this instrument that doesn't resonate very well typically, is not a real winning formula for playing with a glass slide on your finger. But many of us who are what my people call mashugana, we just go ahead and do it anyways, because we don't really care. And if time permits tonight, I'm going to sing that song on the guitar, if time permits, about not really caring. And I'll explain why a little bit later. It's very freeing when you just don't care. Because I already made a few mistakes tonight, but nobody even knew it. Nobody even knew it. You know? And I'm not going to tell you where. The only difference between the pro and the amateur is that the pro just gets better at covering up their mistakes. It never stops happening. I'm not looking for folks to leave and go, that Lil Rev played a lot of hot licks. I can play plenty of hot licks. All 101 of them. But that only goes so far. So we're going to tap Woody Guthrie on the shoulder and ask Woody Guthrie to loan us a song. And I bet he probably did the same thing when he got this from the Carter family in the 30s there. And yep, you guessed it, Belle Isle. It's got repeating lines, just like in church. It's almost like a spiritual. So you'll figure out that you can sing along. Y'all ready for this? Here we go. Going down that road feeling bad. Going down that road feeling bad. Going down that road feeling bad, Lord God. Ain't gonna be treated this way. Going where that climate suit my clothes. Going where that climate suit my clothes. Going where that climate suit my clothes, Lord God. Ain't gonna be treated this way. Children, they need 3 square meals a day. Children, they need 3 square meals a day. Children, they need 3 square meals a day. That's what I say. Ain't gonna be treated this way. Play it, Lil Rev. Going where that water tastes like wine. Going where that water tastes like wine. Going where that water tastes like wine so fine. Ain't gonna be treated this way. Yes, the ukulele can do slide. Yes, sirree. All right. You still want more? Okay. 2 more. Banjo? No?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mountain dulcimer.
Oh,
We got you guys. All right. Well, this is, after all, a ukulele event. So I don't want to be publicly stoned because I didn't play another ukulele song. So I'm sorry, but membership has its privileges, my streamers. Those in the room, which is it going to be? The dulcimer or the banjo? I can't do both of them in this show because I'm ending on a uke song or a guitar song.
3 more.
3 more songs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's no choice, both.
Both?
Oh,
Okay. All right.
one of each.
All right. And we'll start with the banjo. All right. Now 1 second here, and I will be ready. Just one second, we go. Just want to check this. Banjos are really finicky instruments. Banjo, that's why every bad joke in music is about a banjo. The only instrument that takes more heat is the accordion. Yeah. Like, you know, they even combine the hits. They'll be like, what's the definition of perfect pitch? When you toss a banjo into a dumpster and it lands on an accordion. You know, and they're not even funny. Like the jokes aren't even funny, you know. And it's like, and the only reason why they exist, like things like, what do you say to a professional banjo player in a 3-piece suit? May the defendant please rise. You guys are really kind laughing at these, you know, because they get really bad. Like, what's the difference between a large pizza and a professional banjo player? Large pizza can feed a family of 4. So it just gets worse. I'm sorry, you guys out there. It just gets worse, and the only reason why they exist, even and hundreds of them, is because most banjo players spend half their time tuning and the other half playing out of tune. Okay? So that's the only reason why they exist. So, being a dulcimer player, I'm really keen on an old dulcimer player's work, and that's where I discovered this song. I should probably be playing it on the dulcimer, but I like it better on the banjo, so go figure. But in the 1950s, there was a gal named Jean Ritchie. And Jean Ritchie is a transplant from Kentucky and the mountain region, that part of the country, and moved to New York. Quickly, people discovered that she knew all these old ballads and songs, and she sang them with the dulcimer or she sang them a cappella. And pretty soon she kind of got swept into what we now refer to as the folk revival. And singing all these cool old songs, beautiful songs, murder ballads, this, that, and making up some of her own too along the way. And so I'm going to sing probably what's her most popular song, if one could even say that. I actually first really started thinking about this when I heard a gal named Michelle Shock. Do you remember that name? Michelle Shock. I don't hear much about her anymore. And then I'm a big fan of Marty Stewart. You know Marty Stewart? I heard him singing this song. And then the real clincher was when Johnny Cash covered it. Because if Johnny Cash sings it, Lil Rev's got it. The second Man in Black. Okay? So I'm going to do it for you. And I'm going to tie it into an old-time instrumental as well. All right, here we go. Set me down upon his knee, Said, son, you go to school, learn your letters. Don't you be no dusty minor boy like me. And I was born and raised in the mouth of a hazard hall. Cold car rolling, rumbling past my door. Now I'm staying in a rusty row, all empty. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. Say that with me. Yeah, the yelling end don't stop here anymore. I used to think my daddy was a black man with script enough to buy the company store. Now we go downtown with empty pockets, and the yelling end don't stop here anymore. Say it with me. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. I never dreamed I'd learn to love that coal dust. Never thought I'd pray to hear that temple roar. Oh God, I wish that dust would turn to money. Yeah, the yelling end don't stop here anymore. Yeah, the yelling end don't stop here anymore. Last night I dreamt I went down to the office, draw my pages like I'd done before. Them kudzu vines were coming up through the doorway. Grass and weeds is coming up through the floor. Here we go. I was born and raised in the mouth of a hazard hall. Cold car rolling, rumbling past my door. Lord, I pray I'm trying to money. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. Sing it now. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. And the yelling end don't stop here anymore. I told you they were ornery. You didn't listen to me. All right. That was one. This is two. I hope everybody had a really good time tonight. Thank you. And so do another one, and then what we'll do is we'll pretend that you guys will act out what I dreamt last night. That after this song, you rose to your feet and you all shouted unprompted, 10 more songs, 10 more songs, 10 more songs, okay? Okay? All right, and then I'll do one more, maybe on the guitar, we'll see, okay? Thank you everybody who joined in tonight, streaming as well as in person. Thank you to Greg and Amy for all their hard work, opening up their home. Well, I specialize in writing songs that fly under the radar. And I'm not a big champion of sending my stuff to disc jockeys like all the other singer-songwriters. My music is for the people that I encounter out on the road when I'm traveling, when I'm out at festivals, where all that stuff. I'm not waving some big banner that would it be nice to have a hit song someday? Yeah, I'd rather be the guy who wrote The Gambler that Kenny Rogers sang, and I wouldn't want all the hoopla. This is as good as it gets for me in a living room like this. I don't need no big fancy stages or none of that kind of stuff. I like playing community-based music. That's why you'll find me in nursing homes and schools and libraries and on cruise ships and places like that, just teaching people to play music and having fun like that. But every once in a while, my songs find the right audience. They find the person that they're supposed to find, and then it really means something to me. I keep writing songs. Sometimes I'm never even sure why. I just write them because it's coming through. I'm just channeling it. And so I do it. It makes me feel good to feel creative and alive that way. So when my daughter was a peanut, I could hold her in the palm of my hand practically. Her mom did something that I didn't realize was going to be quite so stressful. She left her with me for the first time after giving birth. And I'm thinking, I'm a grade school music teacher. I was a camp counselor. I know kids. I can handle this. She left the bottle. She left everything. I was set, right? There shouldn't be anything to worry about. But the moment that door closed, she was screaming and colicky and was going on and on and on. And I was never so stressed out. And do you remember what I said earlier? It's hard to rattle my cage. As far as professional Jewish ukulele players are concerned, I'm as tough as they come. Okay? I thought I could handle it, but I was like, oh, Lord, I was like making prayers. Please, come back soon, Mom. Please, come back soon. Your daughter wants you. And I didn't know what to do. I brought in the bottle. She wasn't having the bottle. She didn't want the bottle. And, I admit this is TMI, but when I was younger, I used to bench press a ton and lift a lot of weights. Now I got man boobs, okay? So I thought, what the heck? And I grabbed my little baby and I went like that. I put her up there like that. And she tried. But she didn't like it. And so, I was desperate. I'm sorry. But then I had this moment, and I remembered my grandpa. He said when my mom and dad would drop me and my sister off when we were real little, and I would be crying and I would be all wily, he would wind up this big old Victrola that they had laying around the house there, and immediately when he put on those 78 records, I would get like stone cold silent, which maybe was a prelude to becoming a musician. I don't know, but I would get quiet right away, just the way grandparents like it to be. Okay, and that came into my head, and I inherited my grandfather's Victrola, so I was like, maybe it's DNA. And I went in the closet and I dug and I dug and I dug and I found that little box that had all those old 78s and all that sheet music that they gave me, and I cranked up that Victrola, and she's screaming and crying, and and we at the time we lived below somebody, so I was worried we were disrupting the neighbors, and it was just going on and on and on. And I pull out the 70 and I look at it, and it says Ted Lewis, who was like a vaudeville singer, on the sunny side of the street. Grab your coat and get your hat, leave your worries on the doorstep, just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street, right? I mean, how can you go wrong? So I put it on there, and I'm listening to this record, and it's going, and you can hear him singing too, and then I'm like 3/4 of the way through the record, and I'm just so digging this old song on this 78, and I'm like, this is the explicative, by the way. This is the explicative. I can't say the word. And I was so into the record that I didn't realize my daughter had been quiet since I turned it on. Got to the end of the record. Ted Lewis had this line that he'd say at the end of everything he did. He'd go to the audience, he'd go, "Is everybody happy?" And the audience would go, "Ah!" They just love it. I looked down at my daughter like right on cue. And she's laying there, practically naked on the couch going, like that. And I look down at her. He goes, "Is everybody happy?" And she goes, first time she smiled. For me, at least. And I was like, oh, that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. A couple days later, I picked up my ukulele. And this song was just dying to be written. And I had no intention of singing for anybody else. It was nobody else's business, that precious moment. I just wanted to savor it for, my family and I. Something strange happened. And I had to begin sharing with other people. And I know you're wondering, but Lil Rev, what is our part? Say that.
What is our part?
Your part is to say, hey, smile.
Hey, smile.
After all, they say the uke is the happiest instrument in the world. Okay, let's find out if that's true. Okay. Here we go now. Smile that's already on your face. Anything less might be a disgrace. You could do this for the whole human race. Hey, smile. A whole lot of you just missed your first cue. Look up, brother, now, can't you see? Ain't no better way to be. Don't cost nothing, in fact, it's free. Hey, smile. Boy, you better smile. Yeah, it's like a little baby child. Oh, smile. A few weeks later, what I really begun to realize, there's a whole lot of us take that precious, beautiful smile on our face for granted. You don't realize how just turning that frown upside down can change someone's day. But we done got suspicious because we get to thinking that all the craziness in the news is the norm, is the reality. It's what's happening all over, everywhere, all the time. Can't even smile at each other anymore. If I smile at them, that might be a sign of weakness. We forget how important that smile is in lifting others up. Might be at the grocery store, might be at the nursing home. Come on, sugar, with your pearly whites. You could light up the darkest night. There's already enough sadness in this life. Hey, smile. I want to tell you something, Greg Gent. Listen closely now. I had a little tune going through my head. Couldn't sleep, so I got out of bed. Picked up my uke, and this is what it said. Hey, smile. It is no coincidence that each and every one of you now plays the ukulele, or most of you in this room and online. You were supposed to play the ukulele. That was not an accident. You might call it serendipitous or happenstance, but I say no way. I say the heavens opened up and they're smiling down on you. And now you know, not to put any pressure on you, but you could lift a whole lot of people up with those songs you're going to strum. Just like when my phone rang at 11:30 at night. My phone doesn't ring at 11:30 at night. I answer because it doesn't ring. It could have been my mom or dad, or maybe something's wrong. I got to be there for them. But I do have one friend who will occasionally call me late at night when he's high as a kite, trying to kill the pain that comes with the sort of things you see in Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know nothing about those experiences. A car accident knocked me right out of the Marine Corps Reserve, so I can't testify for what that might have been like, other than the veterans in my family that would jump 6 feet off the ground when they hear a loud blast. I saw that happen. So I picked up that phone and yep, it was my buddy, high as a kite. He got to talking and I do what I always do. I just try to listen. That's all you can do. I mean, what do I know about the vagaries of war? So I just try to be a good friend and listen. And then I finally thought something. Hey man, I wrote this happy little song for my daughter the other day. You care if I set the phone down and sing it for you? Sure, okay. I sang this song for him just like I sang for you. When I picked up the phone, I heard him sobbing. Big tough guy. Was in the tank battalion. I said, oh man, I didn't mean to make you cry. He said, no, Little Rev, you don't get it. I said, well, tell me, what don't I get? He said, you know, I take a pill just to get to sleep at night. I said, I know. You take a couple of them just to get to sleep at night. I said, but guess what? You won't be taking that pill forever. He said, I don't know if you get it, Little Rev. A lot of days I have to take a pill just to get out of bed. I said, I know. You told me. Some days you take a couple pills just to get out of bed. But you won't be taking a couple pills forever. He said, Lil Rev, I still don't think you get it. I said, well, tell me. He said, Lil Rev, that song you just sang for me, that's the best medicine I've taken in a great long while. Thanks for helping me to smile today. I had a little tune going through my head. Couldn't sleep, so I got out of bed. Picked up my uke, and this is what it said. Hey, hey, smile. No, you ain't gonna see Lil Rev going to accept his Grammy for writing a song. It just ain't gonna happen. What will happen is that somewhere along the road I'll touch a few people's lives, and that is good enough for me. I tried other things. This is what I'm good at. And I don't tend to stop it now. The dulcimer.
You doing one more? Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
I can't believe you guys haven't had enough already. All right. All right. Oh, I gotta play the dulcimer. I'm sorry, I got to. I just can't leave it laying there. These instruments have feelings too, you know. And, if you don't play one of them and you play all the others, they get jealous. All right. How many of you saw Star is Born, either the original or the second? I think there was 3 of them already. Yeah. Yeah. The second one was Bette Midler, right?
The second one was
Yeah.
Barbra
And the
Streisand.
last one, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Did you see that one? That's what I'm going to tap into. Star is Born, a little bit of Lady Gaga. You guys didn't think Lil Rev could do Lady Gaga, did you? Ain't gonna be no, you know, ruckus song like Smile. time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change your plan, yeah, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Nobody talks to God these days. Nobody talks to God these days. Like to think he's looking down, laughing at our way. Nobody talks to God these days. When I was a child, they tried to fool me, saying an earthly man was lost and hell was real. But I seen hell and Reno, world is one big Catherine wheel, spinning still, spinning still. Nobody knows what awaits for the dead. Nobody knows what awaits for the dead. Some folks just believe in the things they've heard or what they've read. Nobody knows what awaits for the dead. Glad I can't go back to where I came from. Glad those days are gone and they're gone for good. But if I could take spirits from my past and bring them here, you bet I would, bet I would. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change a plan, yeah, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. I can't go back to where I came from. Glad those days are gone and they're gone for good. But if I could take spirits from my past and bring them here, you bet I would. Bet I would. One last time. The louder you sing, the better I sound. Come on now. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change your plan, yeah, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Take it home, Lil Rev.
Thank you, everyone here. Everyone online, you're signing off. Everyone in the room, we're going to play along. But really, Rev, thank you very much. That was an absolute blast. And the music, the honesty, the everything. So it was fantastic. Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.